get started here, I'd like to make it clear I am not, repeat not, up here auditioning for the new series Masters of the Air. This is just a rare chance for you all to see me nice and clean for once at a museum in Army Air Force pinks and greens. Glad we got that out of the way. 80 years ago, on February 18th, 1944, 16 soldiers would cross the threshold of prejudice and discrimination to become the first black paratroopers of the United States Army. They had successfully traversed the rigorous training that was necessary for all potential airborne recruits. They were recruits at the Parachute School of Fort Benning, Georgia. They were a test platoon composed of men initially from the 92nd Infantry Division, also known as the Buffalo Soldiers, who left their previous assignments at Fort Huachuca, Arizona, and volunteered to be among the elite of our country's armed forces. But before this milestone could be achieved, these men would be subjected to the degradations of the Jim Crow South, donning their country's uniform proudly, only to be told to sit at the back of the bus. Bets were made against them by white paratroopers on whether they would even have the chance to jump at all, and ridiculed even further by being denied service at the mess hall or base post exchange, watching German and Italian prisoners of war welcomed without hesitation. Yet despite all this, they still stepped forward with a desire to banish the baseless theories that African Americans were cowardly, undisciplined, and not intelligent enough to serve in such a capacity. This test platoon would grow into a company, relocating to Camp McCall, North Carolina, and would eventually grow into the 555th Parachute Infantry Battalion. And while this unit did not get to go overseas like their red-tailed pilot compatriots, they too engaged in another facet of the war that helped to change the assumed narrative of the black soldier. These men would do so by participating in Operation Firefly, a top-secret mission that called upon them to combat 36 wildfires that raged across the western coast of this country during the summer of 1945, of which some of these fires were caused by incendiary bombs attached to large balloons set adrift across the Pacific Ocean by the forces of Imperial Japan. These men would therefore have to first learn to be soldiers, then parachutists, smoke jumpers through the teachings of the United States Forest Service at Pendleton, Oregon, and eventually bomb disposal experts. In the course of their work, they would make 1,200 individual jumps, but unfortunately they would also go on to suffer their only casualty during that operation, that of Private First Class Malvin L. Brown, a medic assigned to the headquarters company of the battalion. It was such sacrifices that would reshape the opinions held by the upper echelons of our military for decades to come. Today, as I believe there is no time more befitting for such an occasion as this, I'm glad to report to you that the American Air Power Museum is unveiling a new exhibit detailing their story and dedicated to their service. I encourage you all to please take some time to view it. Such experiences have remained in the darkness of obscurity for far too long. Bringing them to light and life today is not rewriting history. It's not the pushing of a particular agenda. This is merely an effort in telling the truth. We as a society, as a nation, need to accept and confront this truth, no matter how ugly it may be, in order to collectively forge a better, stronger, lasting union. A union that practices what it preaches, that upholds the very same self-evident truth found in our Declaration of Independence, that all men are created equal. The stories you will be viewing belong to the red-tailed angels and the triple nickels who went to war believing in this truth. The victory that was won is theirs. But the knowledge you will gain and lessons I hope you will learn from watching today's film and reading these exhibits will always belong to you. So to the triple nickels, to Malvin L. Brown, to First Sergeant Walter Morris, the first enlisted man to graduate from parachute training, to Captain Bradley Biggs, the first officer to graduate from this training, and to Private Adam W. Hawkins, who unfortunately perished during this training. This is for you. Thank you.
My name is Nicholas Casseus. I'm 25 years old from Amityville, New York, and I am a living historian at the Museum of American Armor in Old Bethpage and here at the American Air Power Museum in Farmingdale. So today, the American Air Power Museum is unveiling a new exhibit, the start of a new exhibit dedicated to the Triple Nickels. This is the 555th Parachute Infantry Battalion, the first black paratroopers in the American Army in the history of this country, who also served during World War II. And you can see it kind of back behind me here. And I just gave a short, brief presentation detailing their story and their sacrifice they made for this country. I've always been interested why I do what I do. I've always been interested in World War II history, particularly World War II history, from a very early age. But I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me involved with reenactments and telling these stories. So I want to change that. I want to say, why not be a part of that and try to spread the word for these guys who are passing on at an alarming rate. So, my favorite airplane, you know, growing up with the Red Tails, learning about Tuskegee Airmen, easily would have been the P-51 Mustang, but I used to work out of here, out of Republic, and learning about the P-47, the strength and the longevity of that plane. So I'm split between the 51 and 47 now. Yeah. I wish to challenge people to do more research for themselves, to dig deeper than what's just being shown of them. My father always said, the truth is not going to be gift wrapped and handed to you. You need to go out and seek it for yourself. And particularly for this time era, it's a story for all of us. Whites, blacks, Spanish, yellow, pink, green. Everyone contributed to the success during this war effort. And we need to learn how to talk with each other more instead of talking at each other, and learn to find common ground more than ever.